yung araw. Pulang-pula siya. Parang dark orange. Yan o. Bakit pag sa cellphone hindi masyado makulay? Pero guys, ano siya? Dark orange na parang pulang-pula siya. Grabe. Ngayon lang ako nakakita ng itong sun. Magsi-6 pa lang dito. May puno kasi, hindi masyado makita. Ayan. Okay.
For tourists, anyone with information is asked to call police. No officers were hurt in the confrontation. Chad Hoffman, KOA News Radio. A big policy change at Elish Gardens may affect your teenagers. Amusement park is now requiring adult supervision for kids 15 and younger. The age you
Whoops.
just like this one.
This morning it's like
iHeartAdBuilder.com.
very red.
Hey, red sun. It's a red sun.
It's good to be back with you, at least for a few days. I'm John Caldera, filling in for Ross for the next... My God, you got me all week. You had me all week. Think about this. You and I will be spending the mornings together for the next week. And afterwards, you will be so grateful Ross was back. That he could have done better than ever. You know, That's the job here. All right, 303-713-8255. By the way, I love having conversations with you. So, don't be bashful about picking up the phone, because I just love the spontaneousness of phone calls on talk radio, because it is called talk radio. So I really dig that. 303-713-8255, 713-TALK. You saw over the weekend, I'm assuming, that the billionaire, Richard Branson flew his own ship to the, is it fair to say he made it to space? He made it to a place where it's weightless, but I don't know if they had a whole lot of time to get out and float about the ship. Let me tell you a little story about this. So I think they call it, Spaceship One, that Virgin Galactic has, and it's really pretty cool. We all think about shooting up into space. So Spaceship One does this thing where it's on a regular airplane. The airplane flies up as high as it can fly, and then it drops the plane. It drops the spaceship. The spaceship then ignites its rockets, and off it goes up into the air to the edge.
Oh,
of space.
there's a train.
Now, instead of coming back down kind of butt first, the way that most rockets that Elon Musk's company is trying to do, it actually floats down. What it does is the wings pivot so that it looks like a badminton birdie. You know, a badminton birdie, you hit the thing, and no matter which way you hit it, it always ends up going butt first. Boom, boom. There's just no way for it not to. The guy who designed this rocket ship thought of a badminton birdie and said, wait a second, instead of parachuting, instead of all the other stuff, what if it just floats down like a badminton birdie, and therefore it won't go out of control? The guy who did it was a guy named Burt Rutan. Burt Rutan is a plane designer. He's got these great Elvis pork chop sideburns, and he designed planes. If you've gone onto an airplane and you look out your window, you look out the wing, and you see these little curve at the end, or a little winglet at the end. Remember when we were kids, you go on a jet and the wing goes out and it just ends. Now you look at the plane and there's this little thing at the end of the wing that look like two other wings that are going in 90 degrees from the wing. Well, that was his design. Apparently a lot of force rolls off the wing of an airplane, and if you do that, you get to use a lot more of that power. Anyway, where am I getting with this? Just stay with it for a second.
Always the squirrels.
Why did Burt Rutan, the guy with the Elvis lamb chop,
Love, let's see. Yes, let's go the Iceland leg, love. Yes, the Sheridan.
Spacecraft
Yeah.
that now Virgin Galactic is using to use for space tourism. Why design it? Because, oh my God, this must have been 15 years ago. Because of something called the X Prize.
Wow, look at that, son.
The X Prize
Slowly.
was $10 million prize for the first person, crew, company, whatever, who could build a reusable space ship that could go up to this certain altitude, come down, and then within 2 weeks, 2 weeks, do it again. Now, what's this prize? A prize is actually an amazing way to spur technology. So these guys who are interested in space flight said, you know, if we offer this massive prize, which was more massive then, given inflation, if we have this prize, then all these other companies will start coming up with ideas. And the guy who wins the prize, maybe his idea will be the one that spurs, you know, a new industry or new technology, but it might be somebody else. And so instead of the NASA model of engineering, which is let's get a bunch of smart guys that work for the government, put them into a bunch of rooms that have, you know, fluorescent lights, and these super smart guys will decide what the best technology is. So in other words, it's innovation by committee. This would be innovation by competition. And therefore, we'll get much more leverage out of the money we're spending. So imagine if instead of NASA doing it, you have $10 million, but it spurs $100 million of new research. Not convinced? Let me try this one more time. You remember, well, probably weren't alive when it happened, but when Charles Lindbergh made his solo transcontinental flight, landed in France.
Now there's the sun is coming out. Yeah.
What they don't tell you in the history books is why. Why in the world would a guy redesign his plane, fill it through gas, and try to make it across the ocean? To win money. It was a New York hotelier who realized if he could get enough people, or if he could get flights to Europe, he would make more money at his hotel. So he put up this prize money. And for years, different pilots were coming up with different technologies to get across the Atlantic. That's when you started getting double engines on wings and things like that to try to get enough power and fuel space to get across the ocean. Apparently, a few people died in the process of trying to win this prize. So, I hope I don't fall asleep. Put it in my pants because there is no other way because they're so tight in this little thing. And see if I can fly for over a day without falling asleep and crashing, which he almost did a few times. Well, he did that, but a lot of other teams came up with these inventions, and those inventions went on to spur airplane development. That's why we have different designs of planes today, or a big part of it. So while the story in the paper is rich guy goes out into space on a ship that he built with his own company. Well, yeah, that's true. That's wonderful. But really, the story is this whole idea of space tourism was spurred on because of an X Prize. The idea of putting out money for people to invent new things. Now, I love the idea of space travel. I love that now it's not NASA, but
So many
all
crows.
these private companies trying to figure out how to get things into space. Imagine if we did the same thing with, oh, I don't know.
Well, they're looking for their breakfast.
Yeah.
Here's $10 billion for the company that comes up with a vaccine for Alzheimer's. What other things could it spur? And that way, the government isn't spending the money, isn't deciding which technology they think might be the best technology to win. go out and try to do that. That's why we have this Spaceship One that went out. Pretty cool. All right, so 71-year-old Branson
Jiray.
and 5 roommates went out to
Got you, Jiray.
53.5 miles over the